Okay guys, it is Tuesday, May the 5th. Just missed May the 4th be with you yesterday. This will be the last recording in the greenhouse. I know you're crushed. There's our bromeliad blooming. Here's another variety of bromeliad blooming, how different they are. So I'm just going to do a walkthrough of some things that we've talked about through the course of the semester and kind of finalize and summarize things. So if you remember this guy, the variegated hibiscus, right, we're training him into a tree. I did have to come back and strip a few more leaves off of the stem of this. Again, we're trying to get that main stem going. So what do you think? Should I remove some of these? So keep this in mind, right? White variegated plant means there's not as much green chloroplast. The variegated plants don't always make quite as much food. So I want to keep stimulating top growth, but I also want to build the trunk and stuff. So I'm going to leave these for now. These will pump photosynthetic foods right into the stem. Boy, I wish I could go farther back out with this. And ultimately, I'm going to leave those for now. I can always limit up later, right? Can always come back and take care of it later. I'm looking. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. They're back. I think you can probably. You can at least see the webbing, right? Those are on the bananas. All right, regarding perennials. So our sonia experiment, right? This was on the left with the first group that I pinched back. Well, we ponytailed them, I call it, right? And they're nice now, looking full. Look at that. That's a nice saleable plant. No bloom, but at least it looks full. The ones right in front of me here, these were done on 4/3. Ones over here are 4/11, and then I just did these on the 27th of April. So basically you can see there's not that big of a difference between the dates in here. They all pretty much filled out quickly. So once they get going, they're fine. Our our lack of water experiment didn't work super. Again, the problem was whenever I came in, everything was dry, so I needed to hit them. So there's no significant difference. Maybe the heuchera, the coral bells with the yellow there, those are a little smaller, I guess. So here's all our veronica is blooming nice and pretty. These would be perfect. The plant sale should be starting tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. So they would be perfect to sell. So with the heliopsis, the false sunflower there. So with the heuchera, the coral bells, they're looking good. Now later in the season, their foliage will change color a little bit. Regarding pinching on these guys, so this was pinched. These on the end were not. Sorry, it's just way too close. So again, you can see there we basically have 2 stems, and here we basically have 4. So mucho better plant. Those were pinched probably a month ago. Again, I'd have to go back and look at my records. Same here with the nepeta. So these were all pinched. And then over here, the ones that aren't, again, the ones that aren't are still okay plants. They just aren't as full, right? If these guys here had another week or two, they'd really look awesome. Same with the salvia. So these are ready to sell pretty much now. Nice pink flowers, definitely a little fuller. They're definitely a little wimpy, I will say that. Here's the ones that were unpinched. Here's the problem, you know, the other problem we've had besides everything else. Without that ridge vent working, it has just been too warm in here on any days that it gets sunny out. And so all the stuff is really bolted. It's not bolted, but it's stretched because it's been too warm and growing too fast. And for that reason, we have one other problem is that I think it's going to be a little wimpy to go right outside. If you took this stuff outside on a sunny, windy day, a lot of it would get probably scorched. So here's our allium. We're finally budding up the onion, ornamental onion. Here's another little situation discovered probably a week ago. There we go. So what are the little white things? They're not moving. They are dead. They are empty shells. Jet maples. I put these Pennisedums, the grasses, in some shade here on the shaded side of the house and under the maples because they were just drying out constantly. Tomatoes and peppers are looking pretty darn good. Tomatoes are ready to sell. Peppers, so do you see the crinkled leaves? See how they're crinkled? That oftentimes has caused some sucking insects. When they suck on the leaves, when they're really young like that, they deform the cell division. And we had whitefly. Well, there goes one. We had whitefly on these, and that's part of what has done that. Notice how it always seems like the stuff on the outer edges, from a watering or fertilizing standpoint, seems to be a little more stunted. These peppers are still fine. Once they get outside, whitefly really, in my opinion, kind of disappears to a degree outside. Now, in vegetable gardens, it can be a little tough, but they're all ready to go. Okay, here's our verbena. The red particular ones here pinched, again, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. These we did not, or I did not, and so again, you can just really see the difference. Look at how nice and bushy. Some of these I actually just pinched a week ago, so that because they were so bad looking, but you can clearly see the difference. The yellow sweet potato vines are ready to go. The geraniums are looking really good. The cypress are looking really good. The king tut, or no, was that queen tut? This is, yeah, prince tut. That's the smaller one. Begonias, again, I got a little thing I'll show you on those. The cannas are looking good. So here's another on the dahlias. So again, they were all looking like this 2 weeks ago. No lateral growth whatsoever. So I pinched them, I don't think it was 2 weeks ago. I want to say 10 days ago. So you can really see the lateral growth here. Again, this is not a very big plant, but it's going to be a better quality plant. Whoops, it's going to be a better quality plant in the garden because it'll have, look at that, it's going to have at least 4 branches. Now I see 4 laterals. Actually, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, no, there's multiple laterals in there. So that'll just be a better quality plant. You know, this here is all about apical dominance. Look at that, not one lateral breaking. Something happening at the bottom, but not much. So these will all be much better in the landscape. They won't bloom by, you know, for another couple weeks, but the Persian shield finally kicked into gears, looking really awesome. Here's our portulaca, again, has been looking great for weeks now, right? This has been long past done. Again, another one of our sweet potato vines. Remember, we have 3 different cultivars of sweet potato vines that are looking good. The New Guinea impatiens are still pretty small. I'm sorry, I'm spacing some stuff. Geraniums look great. I've not deadheaded those for a bit. So here we go again with our angel wing begonias. So this one was never pinched. And again, it's an okay plant. It's just kind of tall and scrawny. This was the one we pinched, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. And again, just a much better looking plant. Mucho nice. More of the same, more of the same. Here's our angelonia. Sorry, I'm brain farting. Our angelonia, I pinched these just a couple of weeks ago. Again, and they're looking much better. They're filling out a little bit. I'm a little surprised they're so far behind on blooming. If you see one here that I didn't pinch, it's getting ready to bloom, but I'd still rather have a full bushy plant. That's actually, I believe, one I missed because I pinched this whole tray. I just missed, that was a little guy and I missed him, so he came up and he's blooming. But look at the other side, it's got 3 branches instead of 1. Angelonia just blooms on the end of each branch, so the more branches, the more blooming. A lot of duplication here, the same stuff. Here's some begonias. These are the tuberous begonias. Again, I sheared some of these back a couple of weeks ago. They are blooming again. They're not filling out quite yet, but they're better. They're definitely better. More angelonia. Again, if you look at the one in the back, the tall and skinny, the ones in the front are bushier and have more branches, more breaks. Again, all duplication here. Oh, the creeping Jenny, this has been fine for weeks. It's been ready to go. Right, this is actually a perennial. Great for the foliage color. And then our good old Taurinia is looking really nice. I don't think we've grown this before, but it looks really nice. It's cute. Fuchsia, the last time I'll talk about fuchsia. So if you remember, these are the ones we pinched right when we planted them. These 2 trays right here. So they're definitely looking, look at that, getting nice and full. We're getting some blooms. If you've never seen a fuchsia flower, they're very intricate, really attractive. In another week, we'll have some good flower count on those. These are the ones we pinched probably 3 weeks ago. You can see my pinch mark right there. Maybe that was 4 weeks ago as well. Again, I'm losing track of time. These I just pinched a couple of weeks ago. Remember, these are trailing ones though, so they are going to be longer and scragglier. So these are pretty soon, these will start to flop over and hang down. These should have gone in a hanging basket. We would have put those in a hanging basket once we figured out those were trailers. They would have made, we have no hanging baskets, of course. Okay, so what sign do we see on these leaves? That is what we call stipuling. Pretty soon it will turn into bronzing. One of our insects is classic for causing stipuling or bronzing. It's also affiliated with webbing. So this is a little isolation ward for the elephant ears. This particular tray didn't have them. So again, this one was under the, I want to say the full spectrum LED. The other two were in the other ones. Oh boy. Yeah, I have to figure out what, you know, we've never had this kind of insect problem before in the class, but again, it's just because we're not here on a regular basis and I can't monitor it. Oh, there was one other thing over here I forgot to show you. So these are aloe vera, right? And they all, I think one or two of you pointed these out to me when we still had class, how terrible they looked. They looked like that, only worse. They were like purple. I thought I had another one that looked really bad. So at the time, I thought it would be one of two things. It was either a nutrient thing or they were getting overwatered, because remember, we were a little heavy on the watering at the beginning. And remember, these are a succulent. Well, since I started fertilizing, look how great the ones in the front look. I skipped the one in the back intentionally. I think I might have hit it one time, because they were purple, and purple can be an indication of phosphorus deficiency. And so that's where that triple 20, I think, is really coming in handy. Yeah, here's another one. You can kind of see how it's purplish. Here's some more sweet potato vine. Again, I did pinch these. These are looking nice. These are just ready to go into a combo planter or go in the ground and explode, take over. Look at the vine here. You see that? Yeah, they look really nice. Nothing earth-shed. Oh, I did want to show you these little guys. The pitcher plant has been popping out new pitchers over the course of the last few weeks. They're really cool to watch them grow. They grow off the ends of the leaf. Do you see the leaf there? Well, here's one. So this thing starts to come off like that. There's another one right in that other leaf. And then it develops into this hollow thing. Remember the video from Plant Science, and the top pops off with all that dramatic sound? Remember, it catches little bugs in there to get its fertilizer. I think, yeah, there's some old ones up above. I think that's about it, guys. I know I'm going to forget something again, but it's been a crazy, wacky semester, I know. But we'll talk about the plant, what we're going to do about selling these things. I haven't figured out all the details yet. Okay, we'll see you soon. Adios.